I Am Refocused Radio is brought to you by Documation, service that serves. Technology solutions to keep you moving forward. Visit nation.com today. You are listening to I Am Refocused Radio with your host, Shemaya Reed. This show is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. And now, here's your host, Shemaya Reed.
Hey, welcome to I Am Refocused Radio. We are here once again. And today, man, we're going to be talking to a special guest. He is doing great things. He has a book that we're going to be talking about on the show. He has a website that we're going to learn all about. Man, Wendell Miracle, he is one of the world's most influential motivational speakers doing great things. We're going to learn all about his website. His website is hopenuggets.com, and his book is Have a Magical Day. So without further ado, let's welcome Wendell to the show and say, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
So first and foremost, man, before we get inside the book and your amazing website and all that you do to motivate people and inspire people, man, let's tell the audience a little bit about Wendell, man. Tell us a little bit about you.
Absolutely. Thank you for that question. I am a happiness coach and motivational speaker, on Instagram. And the only reason why I'm even in a position to help people with happiness is because I went through depression myself. About 8 years ago, after battling breast cancer for over a decade, my mother passed away. She's my best friend, and it was the darkest time of my life. I lost her. I lost my job all in the same 90-day period, and I was so depressed. And one day I realized, you know what, life is too short to be depressed. And if my mom were around, she'd want me to be happy. So I started, learning about the principles found in the law of attraction and gratitude and scripture. And I was able to study other people who were successful, and I applied those principles to my life. And I started this page on Instagram back in 2013 called Hope Nuggets. And the reason why it's called that is because back then, Instagram only gave us 15 seconds to talk. So they were literally nugget-sized videos designed to bring you hope. Fast forward a decade later, the page has grown to over 400,000 followers. I've got my book out, and I'm just living the dream that I believe would make my mom proud.
And like you just said, your Instagram feed, it was filled with 15-second videos. So it was real easy for people to actually watch and just boom, get motivated and probably change their whole mood for the rest of the day. What was it when the light came on for you to say, I need to do this for people. I need to help people. And what was it that really kept you motivated to keep building? Because we all like seeing people being successful, but we don't know the hard work that they had to put in on day one.
Absolutely. And that's such a great question, because I'm going to be honest with you, there are moments 3 years into my Instagram following that I was stuck at about 5,000 followers. It was not growing. And it was so discouraging because, I see other people's businesses explode, and some of them were like, those videos on YouTube that are funny, but they're not really helping people. So I was like, why isn't my page growing at the level that it is? And I love that you mentioned that word sacrifice. So I just kept going at it. And what kept me going, honestly, was when I would get a DM from somebody who would literally say, hey, the video you sent out there today actually helped me. I was having suicidal thoughts, but because of your video, I don't want to do that anymore. So those little comments were huge for me, and they kept me going even during the times when business was slow. So that kept me going. And I encourage your listeners, if you have a business, you're doing something and it feels stagnant, don't stop, because you don't know whose life you're changing.
And on your website, you have people just loaded with feedback, telling you and reconfirming with your project and what you have been setting aside for people to digest, because a lot of times it's what we're putting in ourselves that can really keep us from growing. And people have stumbled upon your platform, and they're starting to digest the nutrients that they need to have that right mindset. And diving back into your book, because, that's the most important thing that we're going to be talking about today is Have a Magical Day. What was some of the main fundamental points that your book highlights for the reader, so that way when they are done reading, they can go out and take those action steps?
Yes, two main points, actually. Number one, you don't have to wait until all your dreams happen to be happy. There's so many people, a lot of us out there, we have this destination fever. I'll be happy when. I'm going to be happy when I get married. I'm going to be happy when I get the car, the job, the house. I teach in the book that you can be happy right where you are right now. And the reason why you can be that way is by practicing what I like to do in chapter 1, which is starting each day with gratitude. The first prayer I say every morning is, I'm grateful I opened 2 gifts, my eyes. And I know right now with everything that's going on in the world, it's hard to be grateful. And the reason why, the experts say to practice gratitude is because we're not naturally grateful people. We are natural born complainers. So when you make it a habit to be grateful, it literally leads to happiness. So when you practice that gratitude, when you realize that you can be happy in the season and in the moment you're in right now, that's when your life gets to the next level.
And you mentioned key thing, gratitude. That is something, especially what's going on right now, is something everyone can find. You can find something that you can be thankful for, something that you can focus on, because a lot of times, especially on the show, we talk about keeping your focus. So many things can shift your focus, and you have to get to the point in your life where you don't allow distractions to continue to put you in that same cycle where, like you were just saying moments ago, where people tend to get negative, and it becomes a habit. It becomes a habit. Whatever you are pushing is pushing you. And so if you're pushing the negative message, well, that's going to help push you into negative things. If you're pushing the positive message, it's going to help you focus on the positive things. So it's just one of those things where sometimes you got to turn your head to see the sunshine.
Absolutely. And even in the midst of dark times, you can find something to be grateful for. Like, for example, for a lot of people out there right now, unemployment is really high in America. I always tell people, during your downest moment, have a gratitude list of why that situation can actually benefit you. And in the practical example of somebody who lost their job, that happened to me before. And the list I made was, I'm grateful that this time of me losing my job has allowed me to refocus. It has allowed me to spend more time with my family. It's allowed me to develop my skills. And I'm also grateful that when one door closes, I believe that God always opens up a bigger and better door. To stay patient. And
also in your book, you talk about being a blessing, and also you help people understand how to visualize your success. Let's start with being a blessing, because that is such a thing that it seems to be unpopular, but I think a lot of people are starting to catch on. Like, you know what? There are ways I can help someone else have a great day. It's just the small things. You see someone in the elevator and it's like, hey, good morning. Hope you have a great day. Or just those small little moments that can literally change someone's perspective. Let's touch on that.
Yeah, because I believe that when you help make somebody else's day, your day will always be made. I believe that when you open doors for others, doors are open for you. And in the book, I teach my readers that you should every day have at least one random act of kindness. And it doesn't have to be anything big. It could be opening the door for someone who's elderly. It could be encouraging someone, giving somebody a compliment who's clearly down and sad, but your compliment can lift their day. And when you do that, it literally boosts your levels of happiness, decreases the stress hormone called cortisol, and just overall lifts your mood when you are making that effort to be a blessing to others.
And once again, you listen to I Am Refocus Radio, where you're talking to Wendell Miracle, and we're talking about his amazing book that I believe if you don't have it, you might want to go ahead and get it. And if you want to know more about what he's doing, you want to follow him on social media. But just in case you're the one sitting in the back, we're talking about having a magical day. 7 keys to living happy every day. And I touched on another part in the book where it's talking about visualizing your success. That is really key, because how many times do people get down on themselves because they haven't made it, quote unquote, to where they believe they should be making it? Because I say on the show, a lot of times people compare their chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 300. They haven't put that much skin in the game. So they think that, oh, if I do this, what Wendell is telling me, if I do this for 3 hours, I should have success by the time I wake up tomorrow. No, success is a commitment. Rent is due every day. So if you really are about it, you really have to dig down deep. So for you, talk to the audience about that. How do they visualize to be successful? Yes,
100%. And before I get into that, I want to touch on what you just mentioned about, comparing your life to others. Like, I love social media. I love the platform it's given me. But there's also a downside to social media, and that is comparing your life to others. And we've all heard the saying that comparison is a thief of joy. You can't compare your behind the scenes to somebody else's highlight reel. They went through steps and they didn't skip steps in order to get to where they are. So don't feel bad if you're not where you think you should be. There's this stupid timeline scenario where people think they need to be married by 30, have a house by 35, have kids by 25, or whatever it may be. Those timelines are not set in stone. They're not rules. They're not laws. They're just preconceived ideas that we have. So I believe that some people are meant to get married at 20. Some are meant to get married at 47. I know a guy who just got married at 47. He's incredibly happy. And people who are married at 20 who are not happy. So screw all those timelines, get those out of your system because they don't exist. That's number one. Now, as far as visualizing, in order to manifest a dream, you have to have a prolonged vision and hold that vision for a long enough period of time. An example I wanted to give that I shared in my book is about 8 years ago, I was working for this company and I had a specific job, and that job title was on my business card. I had a vision board, and on my vision board, I took one of my business cards, scratched off the job that I literally had, and wrote on there the job that I wanted. And I put it on my vision board. I would look at it every day. It didn't happen overnight. I love what you said. It's not going to happen in 3 hours. In a period of about 3 to 6 months, I don't remember the exact timeline, but doors started opening for people at work talking to me about getting a promotion. And it was the exact job that I put on that business card. Now, it wasn't a business card or the magical formula that made me get the job, but it was holding on to that vision, working hard towards it, and staying focused, like the title of your show. So when you visualize your success, know that it won't happen overnight, but if you hold on to that vision long enough, without distractions, with laser sharp focus, you will get there.
I had someone tell me before, wherever you're looking at, wherever you're focused on, wherever you put your energy towards, the mind follows. The mind follows the body. And it's like if you allow yourself to get too caught up into who is better than you start to miss the whole point of your life story. Like your life story is you with the paintbrush, and your gift is your paint, and your actions is your mark on history. So if you keep living in a cycle of, I'm not so-and-so, well, who cares? Because so-and-so took enough time to find themselves. And I think that is some of the problem is people don't know how to find themselves. Find your own fingerprints. Stop trying to use fingerprints. Those are not yours. Yours that you have in your own hand are powerful. You just got to start using them. Just like so-and-so did back in the day. And that's why they are today. Like LeBron James didn't just play basketball yesterday and became LeBron James.
No, definitely not.
He became LeBron James because he is LeBron James. And that's what people have to have in their mindset. This is who I am. And I can do anything I set my mind to, but I have to have these tools in the toolbox. So once again, have a magical day. 7 keys to living happy every day. That is by Wendell Miracle right now. That is on I'm Refocused Radio. When people come to you for help and just to pick your brain, what are some of the common threads that you see when people are presenting their complaints or problems with their life? Yes.
Honestly, a lot of people's problems are with high levels of anxiety. And I've learned, and I want to share this with you and your listeners, a lot of times we're anxious because we're worrying about things that, first of all, may never happen. We have too much on our plate. We literally say yes to things we should be saying no to. And also, there's this thing I like to share. It's actually not in the book, but I actually came up with it this week as far as new videos I'm creating. But it's called energy management. It's great to have time management. It's great to be on time. I do this at 10 o'clock. I'm going to work out at 1. I'm going to eat my meal at 2. I'm going to get to this meeting at 4. That's great. And you want to keep your commitments. But just as important as time management is energy management. You have to know when to take a break. You have to know when to take care of yourself. You got to make sure that you're getting your sleep. You got to make sure you're taking care of yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't pour from an empty cup. You can't give your best if you're out of gas. So energy management is as important as time management. That's a lot of things I've been saying to my recent clients. I
really like that metaphor with the empty cup, because, man, they call me the metaphor king in San Antonio, but I have another metaphor king on this show right now, because that is so true. We can get so caught up in the rat race, right? Where we are fighting over who has the most filled cup versus who's pouring the water. And I feel like a lot of times you can get so caught up emotionally, right? Where it's taxing. You're in this rat race. You're trying to do this. You're trying to do that. You're trying to impress people. But you touched on this in your book. We forget to love ourselves. I'm not speaking to the point that you need to be selfish and not like people and not love others. But there's a point in your life you do need to make sure yourself is healthy, so that, like what you just said, you can water into other people's lives, but you can't do that when you're not healthy.
Yes, and self-love isn't being conceited or thinking you're better than people. Self-love is loving yourself enough to take care of yourself so that you can pour into others. And practical examples of self-love are working out, getting enough sleep, making sure you watch the things that you eat and put in your body, watch the things that you consume on TV, making sure you say no to people that you shouldn't be hanging out with. All those things are parts of self-love. And when you take care of yourself, you become the best version of yourself. Then you become the most productive and happiest as well.
This is a great transition into a not last but least, but a last and very important ingredient. In your book, you talk about forgiving others. And I think this is something that's very special because there's a lot of people out there where they carry a lot of dead weight, is what I call it. And that is when we allow people to keep putting the problems in our lives. We allow negative people to keep talking in our circles. And it's not that you need to be higher than people or self-serving, but there comes a point in life where you can't allow negativity to stay in your life. And that also includes you having an opportunity to give yourself to forgive somebody that you need to forgive, because that burden is a lot heavier than what it should be. Because if you don't forgive people, you're basically going to make your life miserable. Like, you're going to spend the rest of your life talking to yourself about stories that don't even exist. You just made it up in your head about so-and-so, and you have all this resentment to somebody else that doesn't even care about you. Like, you're letting them occupy your mind and they don't even care. But you are allowing them to do that. Touch on that with the audience.
Yes, without a shadow of a doubt. And before I do, I must say that a lot of people out there, you have a reason to hold bitterness and not forgive somebody. So I want to just make sure that I touch upon that, because a lot of people that have had negative things happen to them, their unforgiveness is justified because those things are horrible. So True. I'm definitely not going to downplay what's happened to people. Definitely. Now, with that being said, when I do tell people to forgive, it isn't even for the other person. It isn't even because you didn't get an apology. It isn't even because of what they did. I encourage people to forgive for you. There's this quote in my book where I say, I forgave so I can set the prisoner free. And I realized that prisoner was me. I'm doing this for my freedom, for my joy, because I can't go into my tomorrow and in my today if I'm holding on to baggage from yesterday.
Man, that is, if you're listening to this right now, you need to go to Amazon or whatever you get your books at, and you need to go get Have a Magical Day, 7 Keys to Living Happy Every Day. And what I like about the book and about this message, happiness is not just something you choose. It's something you work at, because it's no magic pill for anybody listening to this podcast or following you on your social media, Wendell, but it's something we have to be committed to. Like, if you want success, you don't just say, I'm going to be successful, and then all of a sudden doors open for you. It's something, it's like a blueprint. You decide what it is you want to do in your life. You get a blueprint and you keep building. And if it doesn't work the way you want it to, you don't take excuses. You keep building, because there's a difference between the person that makes excuses and the person that focuses on the solution. And the one that focuses on the solution, they are honest enough to recognize that there's a problem. The one that makes excuses refuses to see the problem. That's just my personal opinion. What about you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's like a personal trainer. They can give you all the workouts all day, but if you go home and eat burgers and fries, you're not going to get the results you want. And the same with, the coaching that I provide. Like, if you get my book and read it, but you don't actually apply those principles to your life, it's not going to work for you. And the thing is, and like you said, it's not a magic pill, it's not a magic potion, and you have to work at it every single day. Motivation is like bathing. If you miss a day, you're going to end up stinking. So you have to do it on a regular basis. And when you do, it becomes a habit as far as gratitude, as far as happiness. And you don't just become somebody who practices gratitude, you become a grateful person. And when you're a grateful person, you become a happy person.
Well, once again, you listen to I Am Refocus Radio. We had the honor to talk to Wendell Miracle. You want to follow him on his Instagram at Hope Nuggets, and you want to get his book, remember, if you have been sitting in the back of the bus or back in the class, wherever you are, pay attention. It is have a magical day. 7 keys, living happy every day. You do not want to miss out on that. If you want to know more information, go to hopenuggets.com. That's hopenuggets.com. Man, Wendell, before we leave, man, what else would you like to tell our listeners, especially those who have been really truthfully been going through some rough times right now? I mean, COVID is no joke. People losing their jobs is no joke. It's a lot of people who are being strong right now. What would you tell that individual who needs that boost of motivation to keep pushing forward?
What I want to say is no matter where you are in your life, whether you're a multimillionaire, someone who's struggling to live paycheck to paycheck, we are all going through it right now. So I wanted to say that you're not alone. We're in the same storm, but we're in different boats. But there's a light at the end of the tunnel. You know, every single storm that has happened in American history did not last forever. So whatever you're going through, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. You will make it. And my prayer isn't that I just make it through. My prayer is that I make it through better off. So what's happening to you right now, it's growing you, it's building your character, and preparing you for the next level of your life.
Another metaphor king in this amazing cyberspace world of podcasts, because I couldn't have said it better than what you just said right there. I'm not even going to touch it. So Wendell Miracle, follow on Instagram at Hope Nuggets, and definitely go to his website, hopenuggets.com. And I want to say thank you for taking time in your busy schedule to talk to I Am Refocused Radio. And that metaphor that you just talked about, I mean, one thing I'll add, if I had a remix, but the same, value level, is we all have to drive a car, to our destination. But the thing is, it doesn't matter what car you're driving. It doesn't matter what boat you're on, transportation. It doesn't matter, because the thing is, when you're driving a car, we all have to wear a seatbelt for safety. Well, let's think about that in our own personal life. We have to have certain amount of work ethic and morals and guidance systems that we can use to get us to our destination, to our hopes and dreams. So I would say this: have a magical day. 7 keys to living happy every day. Because what Wendell is trying to tell you all listening right now is that what you've been doing, you can switch it up. Because you know what they say to the person that does the same thing expecting different results? It's crazy. That's crazy talk. So if you're tired of doing the same thing, you're tired of reading this and reading that, well, like he said, when you read Have a Magical Day, 7 Keys to Living Happy Every Day, it's not a magic pill. It's a guide to help you shift your focus and push yourself in the right direction. The question is, are you going to do it? I mean, Nike had the best slogan, just do it. So I'm going to just echo that. Just do it. Like we say on every single show, keep God first, stay focused, and peace.
Thanks for listening to I Am Refocused Radio, brought to you by Documation. Documation is a full-service technology solutions company that provides IT, print, and software managed services. Headquartered in San Antonio, Documation has been serving customers across Texas for nearly 30 years. Visit Mation.com today.